a scholarship honoring a slain Eastern Mennonite University student is increasing to help others to resolve conflicts around the world.
He did some amazing work. He started a number of years ago working with an organization, Mennonite Central Committee, and then he transitioned to a position with United Nations. And he became quite an expert in working with militia groups.
More than a year ago, EMU graduate Michael Sharp was reportedly decapitated while working in the Democratic Republic of Congo, also known as DRC. Darrell Byler is the executive director of Eastern Mennonite University's Center for Justice and Peace Building.
It appears that there were persons that were not happy about the work he was doing and decided that they would kidnap him and take his life.
Sharp's murder remains under investigation by the United Nations.
We are living at a time when there are over 50 million people who are uprooted from their homes, traveling across borders. The reason they're uprooted is because of war and violence.
He explained the objective of his organization.
Peace building is an attempt to address the root causes of conflict, address the reasons people are being driven from their homes, and again to build communities that are more safe and stable and sustainable for the next generation. So if we don't commit resources to peace building, we will just see a continuing saga of conflict.
Byler says he has no idea which militia group, if any, is responsible for killing Sharp. Although he's never met Sharp, he has become quite familiar with the EMU graduate's work in the DRC, and he acknowledged Sharp was a great negotiator. Prior to his death, Sharp established a success record in convincing militia soldiers to put away their weapons to resolve disputes.
It, I think, spoke to his character of being someone who was able to build trust and help these young militia group members see that they may have a better future being fully integrated in their own communities.
Listen as Byler describes the constant tension of war in the DRC.
It's been a place with lots of conflict and millions killed in the last decades, and so there's much work to be done there, and Michael was an important part of that.
Sharp initially worked with the Mennonite Central Committee and through the years became deeper involved in DRC's conflicts.
For the last number of years, he was working with the UN and had special training to be building these relationships with militia groups. I felt like I got to know him by hearing his parents tell stories about Michael when they were here for homecoming in the fall. They talked about him both as his serious academic work, but as a young man who loved to play pranks and have fun as a college student as well.
Sharp graduated from EMU in 2005. At the age of 25, he returned to the university as a keynote speaker in 2008.
Every time I hear about the realities of war and how the soldiers experience it, my objection is not so much academic anymore. It's not just a theological argument. It's real.
Sharp's EMU visit was reportedly part of a tour which included visiting Mennonite churches and schools as a fundraiser to assist in building a bridge between peace people and war people.
When we hear the stories and when we see the faces of soldiers, we might actually start to feel something. We might decide we want to do more than just talk about it.
But Michael Sharp is not the only EMU student that has lost his life.
We have had other graduates who have lost their lives too. And I should say that Michael is a graduate from our undergrad program here at EMU. He did not attend the Center for Justice and Peace Building.
He explained why program participants do not carry weapons.
Our program is committed to principles of nonviolence, and so we do not encourage our graduates to be armed in their work.
According to Byler, it was Michael's parents and friends who started an EMU scholarship to honor Sharp's legacy of working to resolve conflicts.
In my judgment, the best way to honor someone's life is to find ways to continue their work. And I think they saw that in this center, that by creating a scholarship and preparing other young men and women to do the kinds of things that Michael was doing, that it would embolden his legacy.
Byler explained their goal to increase the scholarship funds.
To build an endowment of about $100,000, and that would generate a scholarship of about $5,000 every year.
According to the executive director of the Center for Justice and Peace Building, there are numerous risks involved in rebuilding hostile communities.
Those who choose to do this work do it with some level of risk, but it's important that we have persons around the world who are trying to transform conflicts and make communities safer and better places for children to grow up in.
Stay with Breaking Through News for Part 2 of EMU's Center for Justice and Peace Building. In Harrisonburg, Elaine Radley for Breaking Through News.